Today on NewsWatch, drama at the DNC after a day of anger and protest. Bernie Sanders stands behind Hillary Clinton. Plus, an Olympian story, how she defied injury, pain, and discouragement to cross the finish line and what it taught her about her faith. Plus, meet the pastor who says the Apostle Paul would be playing Pokemon Go. And thank you for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Ephraim Graham. Tumultuous drama marked the opening day of the Democratic National Convention in Philadelphia Monday. The party's runner-up, Bernie Sanders, capped the evening with a speech telling his supporters why they should support Hillary Clinton. Now that Sanders has cleared the stage, Democrats are hoping it's all onward and upward. CBN's David Brody is at the DNC convention with our story in Philadelphia.
Bernie Sanders may have come in second place, but you couldn't tell that from his welcome. The avowed socialist received a nearly 3-minute standing ovation from thousands of his supporters. They had no cheers for the party machine, however, believing that the establishment stacked the deck against him.
I understand that many people here in this convention hall and around the country are disappointed about the final results of the nominating process. But to all of our supporters here and around the country, I hope you take enormous pride in the historical accomplishments we have achieved.
All day, Sanders supporters showed their anger over leaked emails showing that Democrat Party officials worked to help Hillary Clinton win the nomination rather than stay neutral. They took to the streets.
Bernie Sanders!
Their boos and threats of further protests forced the resignation of the chairwoman of the party.
All right, everybody now, settle down.
Not even the opening prayer was spared once Hillary Clinton's name was mentioned.
God, you have given us wisdom. Now give us courage for the facing of this hour.
It got so bad that at one point, Speaker Sarah Silverman simply got fed up.
Can I just say to the Bernie or bust people, you're being ridiculous.
First Lady Michelle Obama tried to turn the tide when she took the stage.
In this election, there is only one person who I trust with that responsibility. Only one person who I believe is truly qualified to be president of the United States, and that is our friend Hillary Clinton.
But this was Bernie's night, and in his primetime speech, he opted to be a team player, citing how his political revolution made the Democrats' agenda even more liberal.
Our job now is to see that strong Democratic platform implemented by a Democratic-controlled Senate, by a Democratic House, and a Hillary Clinton presidency. Hillary Clinton will make an outstanding president, and I am proud to stand with her tonight.
But Bernie Sanders supporters aren't on the Hillary train quite yet. Can you get there? Can you vote for her?
She hasn't earned my vote yet. We are feeling like we need to have our voices heard. Like this election has been something where working people of the United States are not being heard. They're not being represented.
They're also not happy with Tim Kaine, Clinton's choice for vice president. They think he's too moderate. But Clinton advisor Bernie Strider tells CBN News that Kaine preaches the social justice message that the Sanders people actually like.
Senator Kaine is a guy that lives the Catholic social justice teaching. Not just in his life as a Catholic layman, he lives it out every day when he steps on the Capitol Hill.
If you're the Democrats, you hope the worst is over at this point. Debbie Wasserman Schultz is gone, Bernie Sanders has already spoken, and now you enter the wheelhouse portion of the convention. Bill Clinton speaking Tuesday night, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton to follow later in the week. Of course, Vice Presidential nominee Tim Kaine will speak on Wednesday. And Bernie Sanders folks have already said they may indeed protest that in some form or fashion. It's all part of As the Democrats Turn, a soap opera playing out here in Philadelphia. David Brody, CBN News, at the Democratic National Convention in Philly.
Thank you, David. The revelations in those leaked emails are spreading beyond the Democratic Party. They're also showing an extremely close relationship between the DNC and mainstream media. Heather Sells has this story.
Thanks to WikiLeaks, close to 20,000 emails from Democratic Party officials are now out and open to the public. These emails reveal that not only did Democratic Party officials favor Hillary Clinton over Bernie Sanders, they also show the extent to which party officials collude with the mainstream media.
We have maintained for years that the press was an offshoot of the DNC. And that was kind of a rhetorical statement, but it turns out it's true.
Brent Bazell with the conservative media watchdog group MRC says the emails confirm what his organization has understood.
There has been an ongoing active participation between the supposedly objective neutral press and the Democratic National Committee. It is two peas in a pod.
The emails show that the Democratic National Committee often ignored requests from conservative-leaning media while working with other, more liberal outlets. The Daily Signal, published by the Heritage Foundation, pointed out another email from the DNC Deputy Communications Director saying he could send out an alert to state parties not to respond to a request from the Washington Examiner because, quote, the Examiner is a right-wing rag. And the DNC didn't reply to a Fox News reporter who wanted to comment on a Donald Trump statement about Bill Clinton's affairs, instead calling the reporter a crude name and saying he couldn't find an emoji for a profane response. One leak shows a political reporter asking DNC officials to review his piece on Hillary Clinton before it was published. After the leak, the reporter admitted he made a mistake.
People are only voting for Donald Trump. Most of his supporters are only voting for him because he's a white guy.
The MRC is running taxi ads and billboards in Philadelphia this week, hoping to draw attention to what the leaks show, an often cozy relationship between the mainstream media and the Democratic Party. Heather Sells, CBN News.
A young man in Japan went on a stabbing rampage Tuesday, killing 19 people and injuring at least another 20 more. He launched his attack on a facility for the mentally disabled at around 2 in the morning. After slaughtering and injuring dozens, he calmly turned himself into police hours later. The assault had troubling behavior leading up to the attack, including sending a letter to Parliament outlining his bloody plan and saying the mentally disabled should be put to death. Officials say the attack was the deadliest mass killing in Japan in decades. 2 attackers killed a Catholic priest and wounded another person at a church in France Tuesday. It happened near the Normandy city of Rouen. The assailants reportedly slit the priest's throat. Police killed one of the attackers and wounded the other. The identities of the killers and motive are not yet confirmed, according to a Paris official. Police are investigating the crime as a possible terrorist attack. Pastor and co-author of the Left Behind series, Tim LaHaye, has died at 90 years old. The evangelical leader passed away Monday night in San Diego after suffering from a stroke. He is best known for co-authoring the best-selling series Left Behind. For 70 years, LaHaye ministered in the pulpit, in books, and the political sphere, earning him the title as one of the 25 most influential evangelicals in America. He is survived by his wife, 4 children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. Still ahead, a 4-time gold medalist talks about the blood, sweat, and tears behind being the best. Sonia Richards-Ross shares her remarkable journey to Olympic glory. The Summer Olympics in Rio, now only days away. Runner Sonia Richards-Ross has won 4 gold medals in her career. She says resilience is the key to overcoming injuries, obstacles, and disappointments. Sonia shared the story of her remarkable journey with us and her passion for the Creator, who made it all possible.
I'm a 4-time Olympic gold medalist. I am a 5 or 6-time world champion. I am the American record holder in the 400, so the fastest American to ever run the 400. And I've been professional for over 13 years. But the truth is, behind that podium, there's so much work and there's so much sacrifice, there's so much pain. I was born in Kingston, Jamaica. We had like a fun day at school where we had to like race, and I beat all the girls and beat all the boys. And the track coach was like, yep, you're coming out for the track team. My first big meet was when I was 7 years old. At the National Stadium, we have what's called our prep champs. Local prep schools come to compete, and thousands of people come to the stands to watch us run. It's very serious. It's almost like football in Texas. I'm representing my school, the fans are in the stands going crazy, and I want to win more than anything. When I was young, I just loved the idea that I was good at something. But as I've gotten older, I feel like running has been this great expression that God has given me. I know for sure it's a gift from God because, I didn't create it. And I feel very free when I run. I feel like I'm most connected to God when I'm on the track. Before a race, there are lots of things kind of going through my mind. I'm thinking about my race strategy. I think about the tough days at training. I tell myself that I deserve to be here. I've worked hard. This is my moment. I always say to myself, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. That kind of centers me. Right before the starter says, on your marks, and we're about to go in the set position, my mind just goes completely blank and clear. I can hear my heart beating until the starter says set, and I just get really calm and really poised. I love that moment, that tranquility right before the explosion out of the blocks. It takes a great deal of commitment and passion to be the best in the world. I do 1,000 sit-ups every day. I go to the weight room 4 or 5 days a week. I'm on the track 5 days a week. I've had 3 surgeries. I have struggled with mouth ulcers and skin lesions throughout my career. All those things, the blood, sweat, and tears, it's real. It's not always pretty, it's not always glorious, it's not always golden. There are moments where I have self-doubt. There are moments where I have anxiety, where I'm fearful, and I still have to keep pushing through and keep believing. In 2008, I was favored to win the Olympics. I was prepared, I had done everything that I thought I could to win it, and I won the bronze. There was a moment where I thought about quitting. 4 years is a long time to wait to attempt to win a gold medal again. But I've always felt that God made me resilient, and so I stuck with it. I went out in London and won the gold medal. You see me run and it looks like a Cinderella story, but inside my shoes, I'm in so much pain. I had a bone spur that was like coming off the top of my toe, and my doctor said I was basically running on a broken toe in London. I think it's important for people to know that there's always a struggle behind that victory or that really special moment. I think about my journey as a Christian and the day I gave my life to Christ. And I remember the pastor saying, this doesn't buy you a ticket to an easy life, just lets you know that you'll always have Christ on the journey with you. And so I just know that no matter what I do in life, it's not gonna be easy. It's gonna always test my character and test my strength. But the question is, why quit? Why stop? I think as an athlete, you know that it's not gonna last forever. When my career is over and I do walk away, of course I'm gonna be a little bit sad. But for the most part, I think I'll be proud of what I've accomplished and what I've given to the sport, and looking forward to the next chapter of my life and what God has in store for me. I've learned over my career that sometimes God wants us to win because there's a lesson in winning, and sometimes God allows us to lose because there's a lesson in our loss. When I was more immature in my faith, I would pray, God, please give me the victory today. And God has been so gracious and so kind to me and so merciful that a lot of times He has given me the win. Now I pray more that His will is done and that I can handle the outcome no matter what it is. Because of course I train to win. I want to be the best. I want to cross the finish line first. But at the end of the day, I pray for God to allow me to handle it no matter which way it goes, and to be gracious in defeat and also gracious in victory.
And And you can find more stories about Olympians and their faith at our website. That is cbnnews.com. Up next, the devil's playground or tool to preach the gospel, a pastor's perspective on the Pokemon Go phenomenon. Churches across the U.S. are opening their doors to Pokemon Go players in hopes of introducing these gamers to the gospel. You most likely see players walking around in your neighborhood trying to find a Pokestop, a place where they can collect Pokemon. One North Carolina church learned it was a Pokestop and turned it into an opportunity for evangelism. CBN's Lori Johnson recently spoke with Pastor Kendrick Renard from Grace Church about how he's using the game to reach the lost.
When did you learn that your church is a destination for Pokemon Go players, and how did you respond initially?
Well, actually, my daughter was playing the game, and we were driving by the church and realized, hey, look at that. Our church is a Pokestop, and that's how I first found out and thought, hey, there might be something here that we could work with.
So how are you reaching out to Pokemon Go players?
Well, what we did this past Sunday is there's a thing called a lure module that you could put on your Pokestop that draws in Pokemon players. And so we put that out every 30 minutes. They only last 30 minutes. And then we had somebody out at our Pokestop just talking with people and actually giving them a free espresso drink card and inviting them into church. And we had a message going on how to deal with stress and just had a lot of fun connecting with the community that way.
So about how many have responded to the lure?
I think we had about 30, families or individuals that came by this past Sunday morning.
Now, some Christians believe that the Pokemon Go phenomenon is demonic and they want no part of it. What's your response to that?
Well, I appreciate their perspective, but the way I look at it, it's a fun game that kids are playing that doesn't really have any spiritual meaning if they're engaging in it just as a game. And so we're just using this as a tool. 1 Corinthians 9:22, Paul said that he becomes all things to all men, that by all means he might win some. And to those under the law, he came under the law. To the Jew, he became a Jew. And to the Pokemon players, I think Paul would become a Pokemon player.
Have people actually responded to the church because of this new outreach?
Yeah, we did have some people come on in and get their espresso drink and come on into the service. And so we did it as a way to build relationships, make a connection with the community, build bridges with people. And so it seemed like it was a real win in that regard.
Well, we know that church attendance among young people is dropping. Do you think the church needs to find more ways like this to draw them in?
Yes, absolutely. And I think we need to use technology, Pokemon, Snapchat, Instagram, whatever things that particularly the younger people are using. If we can build relationships and present Jesus to them in a relevant way, I think we should go for it.
Any and all avenues. Pastor Kendrick Renard, thanks so much for joining us now.
Thank you.
And some churches have taken to mentioning Pokemon on the signs out front. Stay with us. We'll be right back. And welcome back. It is not all politics at the Democratic National Convention this year. Philadelphia is also known as a foodie city. So the DNC kicked off the convention with a street food festival called Philly Fest. Jennifer Wishon takes us there.
Welcome to Philadelphia. We are deep inside the city of brotherly love where the Democratic National Convention is kicking off here at Philly Feast. You know, our politics may divide us as a nation, but united, we eat.
Definitely feel the energy. It's buzzing.
I love Philly. This is my town, and we are huge.
Tell me, what is a Philly Feast?
Oh, a Philly Feast? Philly Feast, it has to have cheese.
Wow.
It's the best donuts you ever had in your life.
They're beautiful donuts.
Oh my God, like they took their time, like they love you when they made it.
Just as diverse as the food, political opinions. Jennifer Greer has made up her mind. She's voting for Donald Trump.
And I was an Obama supporter, but I'm a Trump supporter.
What do you like about Donald Trump?
The realness. I like that he's not up there being something that he's not. Like, he's been a businessman and he's taken the only approach that he knows is the business approach.
Jill Singleton took the day off to enjoy the festivities. For her, the best candidate is anyone but Trump.
It's very scary. I'm actually terrified of what Donald Trump would do to this country. I'm not completely sold on Hillary, but I only have two options, so that's the one I'm going to go with. And I feel like not voting is a vote for Donald Trump.
I have two candidates to choose from that I'm not happy with either one. And for the first time in my voting life, over 40 years, I've never been undecided at this point, and now I am.
We are just beginning what's going to be a long week here in Philadelphia, where Democrats are going to work very hard to win those undecided voters. Reporting from the streets of Philadelphia, I'm Jennifer Wishon, CBN News.
Time now for your Tuesday Tweetable, and I owe this one to my 97, soon-to-be 98-year-old grandmother. Even today, she reminds me of this when I'm complaining about something or looking back at my past mistakes. So consider this. What's already done is already done. In short, press forward and stop looking back. The past is indeed the past. So goodbye yesterday. I have a present, hope, and future. And if I'm looking backwards, it's hard to see what's ahead. With that, make this a terrific Tuesday. That is going to do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. Remember, you can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about at cbnnews.com. We'd love to hear what you think about the stories you've seen here today. You can do it on Facebook, Twitter, as well as Instagram. Hope you'll join us again right here next time. Make this a terrific Tuesday. We'll see you right back here come tomorrow.